Hello, my dear students of 11th class. Welcome to the today's session. Today we will continue the third most important theory of chemical bonding, that is valence bond theory. Why we have to study valence bond theory? Because our two previous theories were having some limitations, drawbacks. So to overcome those limitations, we have to study the new theory known as valence bond theory. So first let us understand what were the problems of the previous theories. The first problem was bond angle deviations. Means what? Whatever bond angle information is given by the VSEPR theory was not matching with the practical data of the bond angles of the molecules. Levy's structure doesn't give any information about the bond angle. It gives information only about the number of valence electrons around a particular atom or around a particular molecule. It will not speak about the shape, but the VSEPR theory will give some idea about the bond angle. But this bond angle, for some it is okay. For some molecules, the bond angle given by the VSEPR theory was not matching with the data they were getting from the practical knowledge. So this is the one of the drawbacks of the previous theories. Second drawback is what? When more and more molecules came into the picture, especially for the D block and the F block molecules, VSEPR theory totally failed. VSEPR theory is the best for the beginning or the simple molecules, not for the complex molecules. So we need such a theory where even for the complex molecules we can explain well with the theory. So the VSEPR theory fails to account for the shape of the complex molecules. And the third drawback is what? Not for isoelectronic species. This theory is not applicable for isoelectronic species. What do you mean by isoelectronic species? Electronic species which are having same number of electrons. That means any ions or molecules or atoms with the same number of electrons. What VSEPR theory says, because they have the same number of electrons, naturally they should have the same structure, same shape, same geometry. But this is not true in the case of isoelectronic species. Though they have the same number of electrons, but shape differs. Shape depends upon the geometry. Shape depends upon the what kind of atoms are participating in the bonding. So therefore, here to explain this limitation, I have taken an example of what? IF7 and TF7 1 minus ion. These two species have the same number of electrons. Number of electrons in these two species equal to 56. Because they have the same number of electrons, so the VSEPR theory says same shape or the same geometry. But practically it is different. Okay, therefore isoelectronic species is not explained properly by the VSEPR theory. And the fourth drawback is, most important drawback, magnetic properties are not explained properly by this theory, VSEPR theory. One example for this, oxygen, O2 with double bond. Earlier, now also, people think that oxygen gas is not a magnetic in nature. But by using the knowledge of VBT and one more theory which we are going to discuss afterwards, it is confirmed that oxygen molecule is paramagnetic in nature. Earlier we thought it is a diamagnetic, now it is paramagnetic. Why it is paramagnetic? This is explained only on the basis of the VBT supported by the MOT. So VSEPR theory says no to this. That's why it is the main drawback of the VSEPR theory and the previous theory also by Kosel and the Levy's. And the fifth is what? Energy and stability is not taken care. In this theory, that is in the previous theories, that is the VSEPR, it will not talk about the energy. And chemical bonding's main conclusion, main mantra, main crux, main core is every molecule goes to the least energy state because of the least repulsions so that it gets a maximum stability. But this point is not explained anywhere by the VSEPR theory. That means when the VSEPR theory does not speak about the energy, then how to account for the stability? Therefore, energy and the stability is not explained by the VSEPR theory. Therefore, we need such a theory where it can take care of all the points, not all, at least maximum points it can take care, so that we will apply that theory so that we can explain the geometry of the molecules. For this, Hitler and London, the two scientists, so they put forward their own theories known as valence bond theory. And afterwards, the most famous scientist, Linus Pauling, carried and made it more popular and most successful theory to explain the geometry of molecules. So, we will start valence bond theory. Valence bond theory mainly based on 5 points. Point number 1, knowledge of atomic orbitals. It requires knowledge of what? Atomic orbitals. But in the case of previous theories, it has taken into account of orbit, not the orbital. Today we are living in the quantum mechanical model, electronic era. Therefore, orbital is more important than the orbit. Therefore, for the VBT, we require the knowledge of what? Atomic orbitals. This shows that this is the latest theory. Second requirement, electronic configurations. We also require electronic configurations of the atoms which are combining to form a molecule. Then we will understand the VBT. Third is what? Overlapping of atomic orbitals. Falling one atomic orbital over the other, or covering the some part of the atomic orbital by the other. So this is called what? Overlapping. When the atomic orbitals overlap, then they go for the covalent bond formation. So this idea is given by only VBT. The word overlapping was not there in the previous theory. So overlapping is the best idea given by the VBT. So the effective overlap will give the effective bond, and the effective bond will give the strong bond. So all these points we will discuss in our next class. But what I am explaining today I am explaining about the what we require to understand the VBT. The third point is what? Overlapping of atomic orbitals. Then the fourth we require is what? Hybridization of atomic orbitals. Hybridization is what? Mixing. You might have heard this word in the biology. Hybridization of the seeds and the plants. Okay. So here also what they are mixing? They are mixing the atomic orbitals. So when the atomic orbitals are mixed properly, with a proper energy, with a proper orientation, then a particular molecule is formed. So this is required for the VBT. And the fifth is what? Principles of variation and superposition. This principle is strictly based on the quantum mechanical model given by the Schrödinger, where he has told about the wave nature. He has explained about the wave nature of an electron. See here, whenever two or more than two atoms are combining, so their waves are combining actually. If you go in detail in the quantum mechanical model, their waves, whether it is interference waves or constructive waves or destructive waves, all these ideas are explained by the quantum mechanical model given by the Erwin Schrödinger. So the principles of variation and superposition means it is the waves before the combination when they combine. So the effect of the wave nature of the two combining atomic orbitals depends upon the algebraic sum of the wave nature of the combining atomic orbitals. This is known as what? Principles of variation and superposition. So this knowledge also we require, and there is a lot of mathematical derivation is there which is beyond the 11th class. So we discuss in the higher class the mathematical part of the physics part of the principles of variation and the superposition. Okay. Now VBT also tells about the some points. Point number 1, mutual overlapping of atoms with unpaired electrons having opposite spins. This point already made it clear here. Okay, that means overlapping of atomic orbitals are required. But now what he is saying, atomic orbitals will overlap if they have the unpaired electrons. See, you compare atomic orbital with the paired electrons and the unpaired electrons. Paired electrons are not so reactive because reactivity of the one electron cancels the reactivity of the other electron. Therefore, they are not so reactive. If it is having only one electron, then it is most reactive atomic orbital. Therefore, VBT says that whenever atomic orbitals want to overlap, they should have what? Single electron or unpaired electron. That to what? That to opposite spin. If atomic orbital, one atomic orbital coming with the plus spin, other should come with the minus spin. Or if the one atomic orbital coming with the clockwise spin, the other is coming with the anti-clockwise spin. So when they combine, the spins cancels each other, so molecule is formed. So two atomic orbitals with unpaired electrons with opposite spin is a must for the overlapping of atomic orbitals. This is the idea given by the VBT. Second idea or the second postulate opinion about the VBT is what? Strength of a bond depends on the extent of overlapping, that is S, known as overlap integral. Here S is the mathematical symbol of what? Integral. So if S should be positive, if S is positive, then electron is available in that area. When electron is available, then they go for the bonding. If S is negative, electron is not available. If S is 0, they don't go for overlapping at all. So depend upon the S value, we can tell whether they are going for overlapping or not. Now we will go to the final part of the VBT. Except for S orbital, covalent bond formed by other orbitals is directional, because S orbital is spherical. Whether two S orbitals are combining, two circles are combining, there is no direction. It is circle, no. Whereas if P orbitals are coming, P orbital with X axis, P orbital with Y axis, that matters. Okay. Therefore, it is directional. And fourth is what? In case of an atom possessing more than one atomic orbital containing unpaired electrons, then multiple bond is formed. Okay. So with this, we will conclude today's discussion on the VBT, and tomorrow we will go further some other concept. Thank you, my dear students.